Talking about why the Thrashers shouldn't have been moved. I originally had a 7-minute video planned for today, and it was even this video, but it turns out my microphone was off. Boy, that's pleasant. And now I'm mad, but whatever. So the reason why the Thrashers were moved to Winnipeg even in the first place was in 2010-11, the Thrashers apparently had a dying fan base. Apparently. They were selling mini tickets, and every single video I watched about them says that they were losing fans. And I really actually doubt that, because they could probably sell out one game. Because their fans were good. They had loyal fans. And if you want to talk about the Jets, people just complain about the Jets. Nobody complained about the Thrashers. Well, at least that I remember. People probably did, but not as much as the Jets. I guess people expect more from the Jets because they're in a Canadian team, and a Canadian team has not won the Cup in around 30 years. So, why were the Thrashers moved? As I said, the Atlanta Spirit Group decided to move them to Winnipeg. Why? Because they thought the Hawks mattered more. The Hawks, I don't even know if they're doing good. I don't pay attention to basketball that much. And sure, the Jets may be getting to the playoffs more, but, I mean, when you decide to get rid of some of the old roster in order to make room for new people, I mean, I guess you can expand. And there's a player, Ilya Kovalchuk. Imagine how great the Jets would be if they had Ilya Kovalchuk. He was drafted by the Thrashers. I can't remember when. I'm going to make a guess and say 2001. So he was with the Thrashers for a pretty long time. But he decided to go to New Jersey. And why did he decide to go to New Jersey? Because they were going to move to Winnipeg. And I don't think he or his family could afford to go to Winnipeg. And honestly, the Thrashers moving to Winnipeg was just a stupid decision in the first place. I mean, come on. You're going to relocate a team, an expansion team. And I'll make a video on the Atlanta Flames soon, of how the Atlanta Flames are screwed over, because Atlanta has been screwed over twice. And it's stupid. It's stupid. And the Quebec Nordiques, I'll get on to them when I look up more information on the Quebec Nordiques. Basically, this is just a video talking about what the Thrashers did. So the Thrashers weren't really that good of a team. They were decent, but not putting up high numbers as the now Winnipeg Jets. But, I mean, the Jets aren't doing that well. No. And the Jets have made pretty good work of being in the playoffs. And that's great. But the Thrashers only had one playoff appearance, and that was in 2007. And the Thrashers weren't doing good. But they did have very young talent. And they had, I remember when Nick Antropov, Brian Little, and Ilya Kovalchuk were on the starting line of the Thrashers. That was incredible. In fact, once I learn how to actually record on my PS3, I will be making an NHL 2K10 video. But, basically, I will be making a video on the Atlanta Thrashers. And I actually already am making a video. Oh my gosh, I cannot speak today. This is not really good to do a commentary video if you can't speak at all. But basically, the Atlanta Spirit Group screwed over the Atlanta Thrashers. That's it. And if they didn't have poor management, the Thrashers would still be around today. I believe that the Winnipeg Jets should have been an expansion team. and no team should have moved at all. And some say, well, it makes sense for the Coyotes. But the Coyotes have distinguished themselves so far from the Winnipeg Jets that we don't even call them the Winnipeg Jets anymore. We just call them Coyotes. We barely remember their history as the Jets. And that history as the Jets is mostly considered with the new Winnipeg Jets that used to be the Atlanta Thrashers. It's kind of like that Cleveland Browns story of what happened to Cleveland. Basically, the Cleveland Browns, the original Cleveland Browns, were a football team that lasted all the way until the 90s. 1995, I'm pretty sure. That's when the Baltimore Ravens became an NFL team. And just a few years later, the Cleveland Browns came back. But they still sucked. It's what happened to Cleveland. The Baltimore Ravens are not even known anymore as what the Cleveland Browns turned into. They're just now known as the Baltimore Ravens. It's the same thing with the Coyotes. It's basically that, but put into hockey. And maybe a little bit more longer of time. And of course, there was no expansion team that got screwed over, so yeah. Actually, well, yeah, the Cleveland Browns did. The Cleveland Browns are the Winnipeg Jets in this situation. Or vice versa. Except in being an expansion team again, the Jets decided to screw over another expansion team, I guess. But not really their own fault. It was more of the Atlanta Spirit Group fault. That is basically whatever happened to the Atlanta Thrashers and why I believe they should be around today. Because if the Thrashers came back, it would be big. It would be big. And say if and it wouldn't be as big as like the Nordiques or the Whalers coming back. But it'd be pretty big. It'd be humongous. And I guess that's all that matters, really, now. Because to have a loyal fan base, that's incredible. I mean, if you look at the Cleveland Browns, some of their fans are extremely loyal. And you can respect that about them. And I made this comment during the original recording that didn't have any audio for some reason. The original recording that said, basically, I said that if this thing happened to the Vegas Golden Knights in 2038, and the Seattle, whatever the Seattle team is going to be, became, so basically, whatever, say if, it's like a team that didn't even have any history of the team becomes that team. That's like the Vegas Golden Knights in 2038 becoming the Hartford Whalers, that's a good one, the Hartford Whalers, or the Quebec Nordiques. I was gonna say Atlanta Flames, but there's already Flames, Calgary. And I guess and there's also some other stupid reasons why teams moved. In fact, I'll just get Minnesota out the way. Minnesota's owner at the time, during the relocation, it's because his wife didn't want a team to be in Minnesota, or she'd leave him. I guess he never learned the term hose before bros. Yeah.